In the early days, all we wanted to do was turn people on to this music. Those are Keith Richards' own words, an honest glimpse into what drove him. For Keith, the greatest singers aren't necessarily the most flawless ones. They're the ones who make you feel something real. Over decades of interviews, casual chats, and scattered remarks, Keith has quietly revealed the 20 voices that shaped his entire world. And in classic Keith style, we begin the countdown with none other than himself. Number 20, Keith Richards. Keith has joked that when he sings, he just opens his mouth and hopes something comes out. He's never chased perfection, and that's exactly why his voice works. It's gritty, raw, imperfect, and completely authentic. That rough edge is part of his musical DNA. For Keith, truth in sound is worth far more than polish, and his own voice is proof of that. Number 19, Elvis Presley. Keith has often said that hearing Heartbreak Hotel for the first time was like an explosion going off in his mind. It was a sound he didn't even know he'd been waiting for. To him, Elvis wasn't just a singer. He was a door swinging open to a whole new world called rock and roll. Number 18, Bonnie Raitt. Keith has deep respect for Bonnie's natural blues feel, the way her voice and slide guitar blend like they were born together. He doesn't talk about her often in public, but her name sits proudly among his personal favorites. For him, Bonnie Raitt's voice carries everything he loves about music: soul, power, and rhythm. Number 17, Warren Zevon. Keith admired Warren Zevon for his sharp wit and unfiltered honesty. He once said Zevon could cut through all the noise with just one line, and that's exactly what Keith values most in a singer. No tricks, no flash, just truth. Number 16, Little Richard. Keith has called Little Richard one of the founding stones of rock and roll itself. That scream, that energy, that pure electricity. It was the spark that set the whole genre ablaze. For Keith, Little Richard wasn't just an influence. He was the starting point. Number 15, Tom Waits. Keith has often described Tom Waits as a man of rhythm through and through. Both are gravel-voiced poets who celebrate imperfection. Their friendship and collaborations reflect what Keith cherishes most: raw character over glossy perfection. Number 14, Smokey Robinson. Smokey taught Keith something priceless: how to let a song breathe. His phrasing and smooth melodies found their way into the Stones' early rhythm and blues sound. For Keith, Smokey was grace and sophistication personified. Number 13, Otis Redding. Keith has said more than once that Otis Redding's version of Satisfaction captured the true feeling he'd imagined when he first wrote it. Otis didn't just sing, he inhabited every song, pulling the soul right out of it. That ability left a mark on Keith that never faded. Number 12, Mavis Staples. Keith once called Mavis Staples' voice commanding without ever needing to shout. That gentle power, rooted in gospel and truth, speaks directly to him. He's often said her voice feels like a blessing, strong, spiritual, and timeless. Number 11, Ronnie Spector. Keith still remembers the first time he heard Ronnie Spector's voice, climbing out of school, hearing the radio and freezing in place. The Ronettes, he said, sounded like magic. That sound, bright, youthful, full of longing, stayed with him forever. Number 10, Graham Parsons. Graham Parsons opened Keith's eyes to the beauty of country music. Their friendship didn't just inspire songs, it changed the way Keith felt about music itself. Through Graham, he discovered a new rhythm and a new way to tell stories through song. Number 9, Muddy Waters. When I heard Muddy Waters, Keith once said, everything suddenly made sense. To him, Muddy wasn't an influence, he was the foundation. Without Muddy Waters, there might never have been a Rolling Stones. Number 8, Aaron Neville. Keith has described Aaron Neville's voice as something that floats like air itself, a pure, haunting sound that you can't imitate, only feel. He's said that no matter how many times you hear it, it still moves you every single time. Number 7, Toots Hibbert. Toots was a giant, Keith once said, and he meant it. Toots Hibbert brought the soul of Jamaica straight into Keith's world. His voice, filled with warmth, rhythm, and raw emotion, became a cornerstone of Keith's lifelong love for reggae. Number 6. Willie Nelson Keith has said that Willie Nelson's voice sounds like a story being told. It's cracked, aged, and human, and that's exactly what makes it beautiful. To Keith, Willie's voice is a reminder that imperfection is the truth of music. Number 5. George Jones. Keith has called George Jones pure American music, a voice soaked in heartbreak and honesty. He's often said that the way George could turn a single lyric into emotion is something only a few singers in history can do. Number 4. Buddy Holly. Those early Buddy Holly records made me want to start a band, Keith once said. Buddy's sound lit a fire in him as a teenager. Without that spark, Keith admits the Rolling Stones might never have been born. Number 3. Sam Cooke. Keith has often spoken about Sam Cooke's effortless phrasing, how he could make any line glide. That smooth rhythm became part of Keith's own musical DNA. To him, Sam didn't just sing melodies, he breathed them. Number 2. Jimmy Cliff. Keith's love for reggae runs deep, and Jimmy Cliff sits right at the top of that list. He said Cliff's voice carries both joy and rebellion, a mix of sunshine and revolution. To Keith, Jimmy Cliff isn't just a singer, he's a spirit. Number 1. Aretha Franklin. When asked about Aretha Franklin, Keith simply said, "The dictionary's been used up. There are no words left." To him, she's the ultimate voice. No explanation needed. Aretha is number 1, and always will be.
Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon.